All right. Yes. So today, what we're trying to do is that I'll start with introduction to Bootstrap. We'll talk about the Bootstrap, and so today I'll just first of all give the introduction to Bootstrap, and we'll just talk about that, and we will run some code. We'll just see something, few things happening in the Bootstrap, because Bootstrap is quite an interesting one. So just for a quick review, or just for a quick knowing of myself, how many of you have worked in Bootstrap before? Is there anyone? There will be definitely people who have just worked in Bootstrap somehow. Tinu, you have done that. Wonderful. Anyone else other than Tinu? Okay, Daniel, you have used that. Wonderful. And right. And anyone else? Daniel has used that. Sudhir. Sudhir, you have also used that. Okay. Okay, good. Wonderful. And how about the others? Can I have feedback from everyone? Because, I'll be just, giving some of the introduction to that one. Shrinu has used that. Wonderful. Shrinu, that's wonderful. Okay. So Mohawk says no, and some people say no. Shahana says no, and Jiva says no. You have some basic knowledge. Okay, wonderful. So we'll have a quick introduction to that one, and because I will be using that maybe for our project, so that's why I just wanted to give a quick introduction. So first of all, what I'll do is that I'll create a new folder in our over here, not here. I'd like to create a new folder, and this might be our week 14, I think. Whatever, let's say that it's week 14. Consider it. Right, so let me just close the rest of the things. Okay, so I've just closed everything. Now I'll close this one. Week 14. Let's first of all create a notes file, notes.txt. Again, that would serve. So like we have to start the project, but I would like to just, as I told you, I would like to talk a little bit about Bootstrap before we start that project. So Bootstrap is quite interesting. Let me just show you something about the Bootstrap. So let's go to the introduction to Bootstrap. We can just talk about that one. So this is basically, and this is Bootstrap 4, I think. Let me talk about, let's go to the top one. So this is about Bootstrap, and this is right now the version that's showing is 5.3. So we can just work in 5.3 or 4.3, whatever, we can just work with that one. So basically, what is Bootstrap? Bootstrap is, if you look at that, build fast, responsive sites with Bootstrap. Powerful, extensible, and feature-packed front-end toolkit, built and customized with Sass, utilize pre-built grid systems, etc., etc. So actually, this Bootstrap gives us a very nice library to work with the styling. We know that to write our CSS, we actually do what? We have we have to write the CSS code, and that CSS code typically we just run that CSS code, and we have to write a lot of code to just make few things happen. But Bootstrap, on the other hand, it just provides us some of the classes, and on the basis of those classes, what we can do is that we can just work with a lot of interesting effects without even writing a lot of comment. It's just writing that comment. So if you look at that one, I'll just show the examples. So it has, like, Bootstrap has icons, it has this wheat, another new one. Rather, I would like to show the documentation first of all. So what we do is that we just let's start talking about the buttons first of all. So if I want to make a basic button, or if I want to make some interesting buttons, we have got a very interesting way of doing that in Bootstrap. And what we do is that we just call class is equal to btn, and then it converts the something which we have used as a button. So the .btn class is intended to be used in conjunction with our button variants or to serve as a basic of your own custom styles. So we can apply some other styles as well. If you look at that, this is basically called primary button. So if I want to apply that, I'll say that button type is equal to button, class is equal to button. So I just apply certain classes and the styles would be applied to that one. In the same way, not only styles, we can have we can basically run lots of interesting things. So now Bootstrap will provide us this facility that will just provide the classes, and it will just come up with a lot of interesting things. As I told you, we can make carousels. How it works, I would be just adding those one, the close button options, nav bars. There are lots of options that we might want to use, and that really gives us spinners. We can create spinners. We have the flex property as well. The flex model that we have talked about. We can just work with the flex container like this as well. So there are lots of things that we can use. So now let's start using that Bootstrap to just use that for our first of all, let's say for making rapid UIs. So it's basically related to UIs. So Bootstrap is used, and again there are others as well. Now let's take out the CDN of the Bootstrap, so that we can just use that Bootstrap in our document. So I'll just go back to my this, minimize that one. So now I'll say Bootstrap CDN link. I want to have a Bootstrap CDN link. So let's say, for example, it says that official CDN of Bootstrap. Let's go there and let's try to find out. And that CDN basically works it interesting way. We have, so look at that over here. So version 5.3.2, if I want to use version 5.3.2, I can bring this one. Or if I want to use version 4.6.2, I can just, bring this one. So let's start talking about 4.6.2 first of all. And we'll just, ultimately we'll just bring that one as well. So you see that we have got this this CSS link first of all. So what I'll do is that I'll just copy this HTML link of that one, Control C. I'll come back and again, I'll have to create a document over here in this folder. So let's create a file, index.html. And let's complete this file as well. The boilerplate, let's complete that. And now the first thing that I've copied, the link tag that I've copied. So I have got this link of this Bootstrap, but again, I'm using 4.6.2. Other than that, if you look at that, it has actually what it's, if I just close that one, there are some of the things that will work with the JS as well. We might want to have that JS. So I can copy this JS code as well over here. I copy this, it's copied to the, and now, we usually put our JS at the bottom. If you guys remember. So I'll put that Bootstrap script at the bottom of my document as well. Make sense, everyone? And then if you just look at that, there is another option. It's a combo type of thing, bundle. It has a bundle. It has a bundle of Bootstrap, like it will have everything. Now why not? Let's copy that. So it has a script. So I'll just copy that script as well for my project. Let's do that. So again, we have just copied the 4.6.21. So now if we have just done that, now first of all, let's run this document. Now run this file. I want to see how it looks like. Oh, there's nothing on that one, of course. So if I come here, I'll just write that and I'll just go to the body. And let's say I'll say Bootstrap introduction. So you see that already the font is sorry, the font is already changed, and now it looks like it looks much like a much more a web-like environment over here. So what I'll do is that I'll start, or Yes, let's start with some of the very important aspect of Bootstrap. And what I'll do is that rather than accessing this 5.3, because we are using 4.6.2, we can use any one of them, by the way. Let's go back and I'll try to just bring up Bootstrap 4, for example. This is Bootstrap 4. Let's talk about this one because, I'll be just, So let's start talking about, first of all, a very, very important aspect of this Bootstrap. And that aspect is, let me just show you. That aspect is, if I search here, containers for layout setting. Containers are very interesting in Bootstrap. And we'll start with that, containers. So we can call a class container to make a default container of our file. And the containers in that is basically, you look at that. Containers are the most basic layout elements in Bootstrap and are required when using the default grid system. Choose a responsive flex width container, meaning its max width changes to each breakpoint. This is very important. What is the breakpoint? I'll just talk about that. But first of all, what I'll do is that I'll try to keep my whole document or my whole HTML over here into a div that will be calling the class container. And what will be the benefit of that one? Let's see. So I want to put my all code inside this. So I'll just, maybe other than a script. So now if you run that one and if you see, here's my document running, you see that now this Bootstrap has basically just applied some of the container thing. And if you remember that if I just don't take away this div from here, like look at that, it is just coming on the bottom. If I just come back and I do that. So now what are those containers? Let me just, first of all, close all those ones which are not required. I'm using it over here. No. So this is my document. Let's run that and just run in one document, the Bootstrap documentation. So as I said, we have been working on 4. So I'll just open that one. So look at that in the layout. If I go to layout, I would find out that in the layout, well, here is the containers, right? So containers have different options. And this is the important point about the containers is that there is something called a breakpoint that containers uses. Now, I would like to show you something like, in the utilities, I think it will show me that that breakpoints where these breakpoints are, because there's a table that shows up in the layout. Utilities for the layout, display flex options. Okay, so look at that. So these are the screen sizes. Look at that. Minimum width is 576 pixel, which is basically, it's basically considered as the minimum width. And, you can apply some of the styling on that one as well. Then, if minimum width is 768 pixel, it's basically generally tablets. So these are actually called as breakpoints. These are the breakpoints in our option. And when we use this one, the names of these, if to use in our Bootstrap is that we use XS, extra small, small, medium, large, and XL. So now what happens is that if you want to use these Bootstrap thing, you will have to, I'm just, trying to find that table. If I can show you that table in Bootstrap 5, it just comes up on the top. I'll have to just find out over here. It should be in layout and should be somewhere that table that shows those names and everything. Okay, anyhow, let's go back there. So container options, container, when we use that with some of the, as I said, the suffixes, it basically changes the styles and changes the size. And as I showed you that, for example, over here, if you look at that one, it will give us the different screen sizes with different options. So if, for example, if I say XL, I'm talking about this, extra large devices, I'm talking about 1200 pixel. When I say XL, so that will have, one of the thing that it would be just, extracting or changing its size on a particular that one. So here they have just, you have shown the media breakpoint over here, that these are the breakpoint that we might want to use. So in that one, if I show you that in Bootstrap 5, for example, here I think they've mentioned that very properly. Yeah, this is the breakpoints over here. Look at that. That's what I wanted to tell you. So extra small is less than 576, and small is SM greater than or equal to 576. Now the interesting point is that these points and these values, they get changed. And how they get changed, if you go to the containers, you will see that. If I just put container on extra small screen, it would be 100%. On a small screen, it would be 540 pixel. On medium, it will go to 720 pixel. And on large screen, it will go to 960 pixel and 1140 and up to so on. You see, extra large, it will go to 1320. If I use container SM, small, so it will extra small, it will be always 100%. On on small, it will be 540, then 720 on medium, 960 in the same way. Now, if you find out, if you just, you can read all that, but if you find out that container dash fluid is the one that is always 100% of, regardless of, regardless of that one. So what I'll do, I'll just come here and if I say container dash fluid, look at that. It would be keeping that 100% on all screen sizes. Look at that. It's always 100%. Make sense, everyone? So this is very interesting, and container fluid actually does that one. And if I show you the other options, if I say container.lg, container dash LG, it would be on the medium screen, it would be 100%. But when the screen goes large, above 960, above 992, it will set it up to 960. This is one of the thing, right? And there are certain other things that we'll just talk about. Now let's come back here and let's start working. We have just applied the container, and we have applied a container of fluid. Container of fluid means it will be always 100%. Make sense? Now there is another very interesting thing. They have introduced some display headings over here. For example, if I write H2, some special things. So H2, and H1, H2, H3, they are logically, they are, logically they have that one. Or rather, let me show you something very interesting. Rather than H2, if I just write H1, I just use H1 again. Another H1, for example, I'll just call it. So you see that both of them are of same size. Now, Bootstrap has introduced some of the classes over here. If I just come here and if I write class is equal to, there are display classes. These are called display classes. If I write display-1, look at that. It goes boof, a big size, even though it's H1, but it goes on the big size. So if I say display-4, look at that. So these are display 1 is the biggest and display 6 is the smallest. As we have that, the display 6 is by the default. Are you guys getting that? So if I just give it a 1 number, you look at that, heading, it comes out as a real big. So we can have these headings, and it can be like, again, if I just take this H1 again and I paste it multiple times, look at that. So here I'll say display-2. So I'll not write another H1, rather I'll write the 2 option, the second option. And now display-3. The 3 option. Look at that, size is gradually going down. And again, that is now for 4. 4 is almost smaller, and then 5. 5 is the smaller. And now if I say 6, look at that. 6 and 5 does not look too different, but they are a little different, you know. This is your 5 and this is our 6, right? So this is basically what it's the display dash classes that we have. We can use display classes and we can use display headings. And by the way, this is not only that it will be applied on headings. It can be applied on paragraphs as well. If I write paragraph and I write a lorem here, look at that. I have this text and I can come to this one and I can say, for example, class is equal to display dash 4, for example. Look at that. My paragraph changes into some of the bigger text. Make sense, everyone? This is basically what? This is typically the display class that we can use with any of the components. So again, I've used this with a paragraph. I can just, you know, leave that. I can leave that out. And if I leave that out, of course, it will become a normal paragraph. So I'd like to just maybe delete this. Don't want to keep that much data over here. And why not even this one? So I have just some h1 and then. Now, in the same way, we can have text classes. There are certain text classes as well. So if I write another P, and again I give a lorem here, like some text over here, and in this P, if I come and I give a class is equal to lead. Now see here, look at that. When I say class is equal to lead, it basically just makes it a proper like, you know, a bit more prominent on our screen. Make sense, everyone? So class is equal to lead. It just, you know, makes it a lead, you know, lead text or something like that. And, you know, in the same way, I can just, you know, apply other classes. If I say text dash center, so it would be centrally aligned, right? Text dash end, it's again sort of right align. And if I say text dot justify, look at that, text is now justified. Make sense, everyone? So this is basically what this is a lead text option as well. We can use this lead text option. Now, another option that we might want to use is the text decoration. Let's write here. And font weight. Let's talk about two of the properties. Text decoration and font weight. Now let's see. If I want to apply a class and I will apply a class. I'll say text decoration underline. So I just apply that class to that one. And now if I just write lorem and I hit save. Right, so text decoration underline dash underline. It should work. Okay, it does not work. Text decoration dash underline. Let's see, maybe it was in our Bootstrap 4. It might be a little different. Let's go and check that one. Let's see, it will just come up with a text decoration. It will just give the option, mark, text utilities, abbreviations, block quotes, naming a source, alignment, lists, inline. Oh, this is in 5. Yes, in 5 I can find that. Yes, you're right. And if I was trying to find that in, let's find that in the 5. Yeah, it has to work like it's for 5, right? It's not for 4. So I was looking for 4, you know. You know, Tino, I was looking for 4. In the 4, how do we do that? Let me just find out on the 4. This is typography, and again, it has to have the underline thing. Okay, interesting. Because it might be in the utilities border. Let's go to the text alignment. Yeah, its alignment is coming up. Next line, wrapping and overflow, transform, font weight. There's no decoration here as well. This is the lead. It is just using a U here, right? But I don't think that's a good idea to do that. But anyhow, let's do that. It should be underlined. Yes, but again, it has to have. Maybe I don't know if it does not have that that one. Anyhow, we'll see that why it is not making underline. And then there is a line through as well. Let's see, and it shows here like how does it do that? So for the line through, it just use that. I think mark is for highlight and then P del. So del is basically used. It's using rather elements rather than that one. So if I just come here and I say del, and let's put that word inside that one. So if I do that, look at that. See this provident or whatever the word was there. It has been done. So okay, it's basically using in the for, it is using that one. But generally speaking, it has to have. Now the text colors. If we talk about the text colors, so text colors are very interesting. If I just come here, like again, it's not working. So I'll just take it away for a second. So for the text color, we can just say class is equal to text dash primary. Look at that. If I just do that, it will change the color of the text to the primary. Make sense? And anyone in the way, like in for example, so lead text justify, and I can just come here and I can say text dash, for example, warning. Look at that. The text goes yellow. Warning is there. Text that danger is there. All those are there. Success is there. If I say text dash success, look at that. The text goes green. So these are all the green the colors, and you can make it info, like info. So that becomes like lightish blue or something like that. In the same way, there is another option that is very interesting called text muted. So muted text, muted means again it will be dulled out and it will look like that as if that the tag is that text is not there. Anyhow, in the same way, if you want to apply the background colors, that is very interesting. So if I come here and I say text dash for example warning, and I want to apply a color BG primary. So if I just apply BG primary, so you see that it has been basically doing that yellow color text and it's a blue color. So rather I'll just come here and I'll say, for example, let's make it success. So now it's green color and the red. So I can just always come here and I can change the background. I can say BG secondary, for example. If I make it BG secondary, so you see that the background goes that. In the same way, I can say BT dash danger. Very bad combination of red and. So again, this is very simple to just apply the classes to that one. In the same way, as I told you, and we'll just do that over here, that if you want to create the buttons over here, we have multiple options. So let's give a heading of buttons here. And let's create buttons after that. So now look at that. If I want to create a button, so I would like to give a class of BTN. Not only that, space, I might say BTN primary. And I say this is primary button. Look at that. The button comes up with all the stylings and everything. That's quite interesting, right? In the same way, I can just create another button and with some other property, and I can say btn dot secondary. Button the secondary. Do you see that? How easy it is to just change that one? And so much so I can just make links as well. So for example, if I write h3 links, inside that I want to create the links. So I've got the links, and in the links I can say a And let's say I want to give a class of BTN. So I want to give a class of BTN space BTN dash info anchor tag. You see that info anchor tag. So now this has become a BG info. It's an information one. And again, I can change the BG color. So I can just always come here and I can say BG warning. So it will come in yellow color. Looks simple, so we can just, say that we can just define a button, or I can, I can just define an ahref, and inside that I can define a class, and I would say BTN first of all, and then BTN dash success. So we write success in the button as well. So you look at that. Right. So buttons can be created like this one. This is a very interesting way of creating a button. Now here comes another important concept. The button also comes up with the sizes. We can talk about the sizes of the buttons as well. What does that mean? Let's come here. Let's put another H3 sizes in button. So sizes in buttons. So now look at that. If I want to apply some of the sizing of the button, what I'll do? I'll say button and have a class of BTN first of all, and then I would say BTN dash LG. It's for large. BTN dash danger. Right? Okay. Oh, there is nothing on the button. It's a big button. When we say BTN LG, it's basically large button. In the same way, if I make this same button with BTN SM for small, look at that. Do you see the difference between those buttons? So we can create these type of buttons in. So it's very easy, and we just we can just give them. And there is some other button styles as well. Why not? Let's discuss button styles. Buttons have some styles as well. What are those styles? Let's see. Button having a class of button, and also it will have BTN outline primary. Now outline. Look at that outline button. Now without writing any CSS, we can create very cool buttons. In the same way, if I create a secondary button here, look at that secondary button, and it's off. And these are very animated, like, these are when you take your cursor, lots of setting has been done. Lots of setting has been done, right? In the same way, we can make a BTN group, button group. Let's create that. So I'll create a BTN group div. Look at that BTN group, and I have A. And in that A, I'll say class is equal to BTN primary. And let's write down button 1. In the same way, I'll write ahref is equal to class is equal to BTN dash warning. It's button 2. Look at that. I've got 2 buttons. BTN warning. And in the same way, let's create one more button before we leave. I'll just create BTN and BTN dash success. Look at that. I can create some buttons over here. Do you see that? Do you guys see that? How easy it is just to be, just to write a lot of cool, coloring and schemes, because, otherwise we'll have to just, do. Now here comes another very important concept that I want to discuss, and these are called utility classes. Utility classes. Hopefully it will be here as well. It should be utilities. So adding border, adding, subtracting border, border radius, how to change that, and things like that. We'll just, talk about that one in our utility classes. Let's try to do some. So now let's create that one. If I come here to my first text, and here, for example, if I say, look at that, I'll show you a running document side by side. So if I come here, I'll just run my document. I'll come here for the first paragraph and I say, look at that. Look at my first paragraph. I say class is equal to BG primary, apply BG primary, and margin equal to 1 and padding equal to 1. M and P, the nomenclature is used M and P. Margin and that is equal to 1. So look at that. They are a little bit offset from all sides. 1 pixel from here, 1 pixel from. If I just make it more, if I say M7, for example, look at that. It's 7 pixel away from where it should be. So this M, it represents margin and P represents padding. Padding inside is 1 right now. If I say padding, I need more padding. Look at that. Is that making sense to everyone? M-7. What are you saying? Margin? I don't understand what you're saying. No M-7. I'm trying to give. So we maximum go to 5, I think. You want to say that, Tino? You want to say that we maximum go to 5, right? Yes, exactly. So, it's the 5 is the limit, right? The 5 is the limit. You see that now it is applying this 5 margin. Yes. So yes, you're right. 7 was not an option. So this M5 is an option. Like, we have 5 margin on all sides. And, we can just apply that one. And we can just give that. And even, we can say margin top and things like that. I can say MT, for example, margin top. So it just applies on the top. Or I can say margin bottom, 5 on margin bottom. Look at that. Its bottom is applying. So, little these classes and they are just unit doing. So margin on, for example, margin at the end, maybe margin at the end or margin at the top, whatever, MT. So, these are all the options that we can give, and these are them. And same goes with the padding as well. So padding 4 all on 4 sides. So if I say padding top 4, for example, so you see that only from the top, this blue box, only from the top, its text is being, it's displaced. Otherwise, it's all the rest of the things are over there. Makes sense? So these are that one. Now, how about the borders? If I want to apply the borders, that's very interesting. So I'll just apply a padding of 2 to all sides. Let's see that. Now borders. So if I want to have a border, so I'll just say class over in the class, I'll say border. So look at that. If you experience that there's a border that has appeared. Now, if I say, for example, border top, for example, so the border only comes at the very top, right? And now if I say border dash 5, right? So let's say border dash 5, and I say border. So it is applying a 5 pixel of border, and then I can just say rounded as well. Okay, it's not doing the rounded here. Rounded border 5. Let's see that. There are certain properties that need to maybe come before. So let me see that. Rounded and rounded border and border 5. It's applying now. Let's see that. If okay, so if I just come here and I take away this rounded. Yeah, so it was just applying it. It's a very small value. That's why we could not see there. Otherwise, it just do that rounded as well. So it makes that rounded. The sharp edges have gone. So we can have the borders as well, and then we can have box shadows as well. Even box shadow. So I can just come over here and why not apply that exactly same over here. So if I say shadow, if I just say shadow, we just need to write a shadow over here. Look at that. If you feel that now this has a shadow, right? And if we can change the values. You can say small shadow. If you feel that there's a shadow that is appearing, but it's very small in the form that it's basically there. So if I just say shadow, look at that. There is a very prominent shadow, and this looks like a bit of on the far side, front side. Right? Makes sense. And then we can have font size classes, font classes. If I just come here and I can say font weight bold. Let's see if it works with this one, like in 4 as well. No, it might be again for the number. It should work with that here. So we have this lead text. We are already, this is the lead text. So let maybe just create one more or over here. Text primary. And I say font weight bold. It does not. Does it work if you see that? Bolder. Let's try that with some other text. So let's have a class with nothing. First of all, P normal text, right? And now P with a class font weight dash bold. Let's create that. Some text. Yeah. So do you see that it's not making this bold? Can you find out, why it's not making it bold? Because it's not bold. Let's say that, or maybe it's making so. No, I don't see bolder. Can you find out why in number 4? Let's check that one, and not in 5. Go to check in 4. Font weight in the utilities, font weight. Oh, okay. So I'm using a small font weight. Yes, thank you. So it has to have font weight bold. So maybe so font and weight and bold. Let's do that. So yes, now it is just basically coming up over here. And now here is that one. Bold, normal, font weight light, font italic. So it's basically not FW, it's font weight. Tinu, thank you very much for sharing that one. Okay, so now let's as I told you, let's one more thing. We'll just look at that one. We have got a main container right now, which is basically running over here. Now let's make some of the containers and apply different container classes and see what will happen. Let's go there and at the bottom let's create some of the divs. So let's create first div with container fluid that I have already, right? So lorem. So look at that. This is container with container class fluid. And why not I give inside that a little heading H2 fluid container. It is the fluid container, and you remember we have read about that it will try to adjust itself to 100% on every screen size. It will just try to go there. Now let's come back over here. Fluid container. Now let's create one more fluid container. I copy this and paste it again. And now rather than making that container fluid, I would say container dash large. Container dash large. Right. So now I'll just do one more thing, because let's say BG dash, let's make danger. Okay, this is one container. So we'll apply BG dash, right? So that we can see the difference. BG dash warning, just make different. So now let's see that these are the two containers that we have. And look at that. This the second one is, let's see, second one is not fluid controller. Look at that. Second one is container large and which has a warning background. So look at that. When it is large, an extra large screen, it stops somewhere. Remember, I told you that I gave you that table where it was mentioned how they just how they just go over there. So what, like if you want to have its property, I can just write it over here as well. Let's write some properties over here for that so that they are collectively over here. It would be, let's write, it's not a fluid control. Sorry, let's write it over here. So it will be 100% width until LG screens. If LG screen comes, it will come shorter. Otherwise, it would always try to keep it 100%. And how do we know that? When we just come here, you look at that. Look at that. This yellow one will be always 100% on all the screen sizes. Look at that. It's always 100%, 100%, 100%. Now, when the large screen comes, it just goes over there. Look, everyone. You understand? So this is basically large, and on the large, it is just basically going over there on the large container. Other than that, what else? Let's make extra large. So I create a container dash LG, and let's take a lorem here. And why not give it a background class? BG dash info. Look at that. Now this is extra, like right now it is large again, and I can make it XL. Now this will, if I just make that one, that also goes to 100% unless extra large. This is extra large screen. And again, if I just try to make it, smaller, I try to stretch it smaller. So look at that. It is on this screen, it is 100%. And then look at the middle one, which was scripted. So look at that last one. It's over there. But when you go to extra large screen, it just goes like that. Right? Yes, Tino, MX dash auto. You want to set that one? Or let's write about that as well. So I can just write in the H2, for example, for this one, H2, and let's write 100% until XL screen. Until XL screens. So it will be 100% until XL screens. Right. So these are the different options, and you can always apply those options over there, and they will be interestingly, made. Make sense, everyone? So now one more thing that I would like to just discuss over here is that the grid system that we have, the grid system. Why not? Let me just make it all the comment and try grid system over here. So I'll just put that before this diff. Let's make all that comment. No, it's not happening. So I'll cut that from here for a second. And why not? Let's paste it in the notes. It's all, just for the reference purpose, it will be there. So I have nothing inside that one. And now if I just come here and I make a container, for example, and I say, for example, H2, and I'll say basic grid. I want to check a basic grid. So now how to create a grid? Actually, what we create is we create rows. I'll create row. It's just like tables as we used to do in the tables. And inside that row, I'll create a column. And I'll apply this class column. Make sense? And inside that column, I would like to make one div with class padding of 5. I want to apply a padding of 5 of class. And let's say I say column 1. This is my column 1. Now look at that. I'll give it a background color as well. Why not? BG primary. So that there is a color that shows me how it's going on. And text light. Text light will make it, white text light, right? So now this is my first div. Now I want to make another column. So I'll say div col. And inside that column, I'll just create again P-5, a 5 padding folder. And here I'll just give a background BG primary. BG primary text light text. I'm just keeping the light and I'm calling it call to. Right of BG dash primary. Look at that. Now we have got 2 of them. Like there are 2 columns in this first row. And now let's create one more column. So I keep on creating these columns and I'll just, create another column. Look at that. And another one. I'll just call it call 3. Call 3 and this is call 4. Oh, did I change anything? Oh, yes. I destroyed div. Hopefully that should be fine now. Look at that. So now I have got these 4 elements laid on a screen. And again, you can just look at that one. So there are 12, you can say that there are 12 screens, 12 columns or 12, places to put up that one. And, if I just come over here, remember why 12 I'm saying? If I just come to the first one, for example, and here in this first column, I say column of 6 occupies 6 sections. So look at that. What it will do that it will occupy the 6 out of 12. You see almost half of the screen. Make sense, everyone? And if, for example, for the second one, I say that you occupy 3 spaces, it would be more, right? You understand that? And maybe to the next one, the column 3 also, I want to say that you occupy 3 columns. Look at that. Now if I just take away column 4 for a second, just take this away, column 4. Look at that now. 6, 3, and 3. Make sense, everyone? 6, 3, and 3. And this is basically what this will be just, using that one. So this is the grid system. And you can play with this grid system a number of times because, you can just apply some of the background colors. You can apply and, check that one. Here, I just use the same one. I could always say the same thing that I was doing, BG warning, for example. And here, BG danger, let's say. So now we'll have just multiple types of columns and multiple colors over there. And there are other lots of options. I've just given you a few options and I just wanted to give you a quick teaser introduction of that one. You can always go here and you'll find out that what are the border options, border top, border right, and we can give border colors as well, like that in the same way. And we can give a class of rounded to have a rounded rounded corner that was coming over there. So and then we have this display property that I've talked about. This is not in bed. Let's talk about display. And you see display flex, display inline block, display. These are all basically options of being displayed. So we can use them as well, right? So I would like you guys to just go and explore that one. And what we'll do is that we'll be using this all in our project. And for the project, what I'll do is that I just thought that I will be doing this bootstrap part with you guys, and then I'll share this one with the group, both of the groups, yesterday's and tomorrow, and then I'll just do the project with the group tomorrow, and I'll share that recording with you guys later on, like when we are done with that one. So we have just seen a lot of things over here, and now we can just play with that one, and I can just go there and I can bring that back. All the text that I had, for example, I just bring it back, and I say that I want to put that in my maybe column 1. That would be a little pressure on that one, but let's see, because now I'll have this, see that all those things are coming up in the first column. So this is grid system, and grid system is quite interesting, is that? Anyone, any questions? Do you want to, anyone has any question? So you can ask, or I'll be just, keeping this to this point, like with you guys, and I'll share this with the others, and then we just do the, any questions from anyone? Okay, Shahana, thank you. So, all right. Yes, so Tino, it's up to you. You can use 4 or 5, whatever you feel comfortable in, right? Whatever you feel comfortable in, you can use 5 or 4. But the real theme is for the project, we'll be using we'll be using 4. Or if that matters, if I'll be needing, I can just use 5, whatever. Because it has all the support, right? Okay, right. So thank you very much. And I but just wait for the recording from tomorrow's session. Like that would be with section 2. And I'll share that recording with you guys. That would have, as I said, that would have a complete project that will just try to run. And you will be just working with that one, right? So yeah, so I want few people to just to stay here, or maybe I'll just give them a call separately. So I will Mohak, are you there? Mohak, I can see your name, and I think, yeah. So Mohak, just wait for my call. Don't go anywhere. I'll be talking to you. And then there was another Sudhir. Sudhir, I would like to talk to you as well, right? So just be with me, and I'm just stopping recording now, and I'll just give. Yes, Sunil, you have a question?